When it comes to success, there are no shortcuts. Work hard, dream big, and never give up. Hi everyone. In this video, we'll go through inverse trigonometric functions. We'll go through problems related to finding of principal values. Before getting into the problems, we will have to remember this table which gives the principal value branch. Now, for each of the trigonometric functions, there is a principal value branch, right? Or the range. For sine inverse, the range is between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. That is minus 90 to plus 90. So whatever values you get when there are sine inverse functions in an expression, the value should be within minus 90 degree to plus 90 degree. Similarly, whenever there is cos inverse functions in a trigonometric expression, then the value of that expression, then the value of this particular cos inverse function should lie within this range 0 to pi, that is 0 to 180 degrees. So whatever value you get for cos inverse function should be within this range 0 to pi. 0 to pi means it could be 45 degrees, 60 degree, 90 degree, 35 degrees. It could be anything. So anything within this range becomes a principal value. Similarly, for cosec inverse. For cosec inverse function, the range is again same as sine inverse function, which is minus 90 to plus 90, same as sine inverse function except 0, right? What is cosec? Cosec is 1 by sine, right? So obviously, the denominator you cannot have 0, right? If you have 0 in the denominator, it's going to become undefined. That's why 0 is removed from this particular range. Now, similarly, for sec inverse. Sec inverse is same as cos, 0 to pi. Tan inverse. Tan inverse is same as sine inverse, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Cot inverse is same as cos inverse, 0 to pi. So, we will have to remember this table to solve any of the problems related to inverse trigonometric functions. Now, the way to remember this, sine, cosec is 1 by sine, and tan is sine by cos. So these three functions will have the same range or same principal value branch, which is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And cos inverse, secant inverse, and cot inverse. What is secant inverse? Secant inverse is 1 by cos. So cos inverse, secant inverse, and cot inverse will have the same range, which is 0 to pi. There's another way to remember this, right? You can remember the first group as scot, right? So you have S, which is sine, and you have CO, which is cosecant, and you have T, which is tan. And the range for this is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. This is the principal value branch. Principal value branch for sine, cosecant, and tan. So you can remember it as scot. CO is for cosecant. So scot, right? You can remember it this way. And the other group would be, obviously, it will be cos, secant, and cot, right? So anything outside of this group becomes 0 to pi range. So this becomes the principal value branch. So if you remember this, you can remember the other group also, scot. So remember scot if it makes it easier for you. And next thing we'll have to remember is this trigonometric chart, right? All the values from 0 to 180 at least we'll have to remember, right? For us to solve these problems. So if you remember sine values, then you can get the cos values. From 0 to 90 degree, if you remember the sine values, in the reverse direction, you will have the cos values. So 1 root 3 by 2, 1 root 3 by 2, 1 by root 2, half, and 0 in the reverse direction. And tan, of course, you can remember sine by cos. If you take sine by cos, you'll get tan values. Cot values is reverse of tan. Reciprocal of tan is the cot values. Cosecant is nothing but 1 by sine, right? 1 by sine would be cosecant. Secant would be 1 by cos. So all you have to remember is values of sine theta from at least from 0 to 180 or 0 to 90. Now we will solve the problems. Find the principal values of the following. So first one is find the principal value of sine inverse of minus half. Now principal value is nothing but the value that you get between this range, right? You will get some value when you solve this, you'll get some value, and that value should be within this range. What is the principal value branch? What is the principal value branch for sine inverse? It is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, or minus 90 to plus 90. This is the principal value branch. Now, so what we will do, we will assume this entire trigonometric expression and assign it to y, right? We'll assign it to y. Now what we will do, when you can shift sine this side. When I shift sine this side, this is going to become sine y, right? Sine will get shifted and it will become sine y, and you'll be left with minus half. Now, you'll have to go to the trigonometric chart and see where does half fall under. If I go to the trigonometric chart, where is half falling under? Half is under 30 degrees. So, half is falling under 30 degrees. What is 30 degree? It's pi by 6. Pi by 6 is 180 by 6, which is 30 degrees. Right? So, this is going to be pi by 6. Now, you take this minus and just put minus as it is. Right? Because in this range, you can have negative values also. Minus pi by 6 is 30 degrees. So, it becomes minus 30 degrees. Minus 30 is within this range. From minus 90 to plus 90, you have minus 30. You should write this belongs to principal value branch, which is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Remember, it's a closed interval. It's a closed interval. Square brackets. Closed interval means minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2 are included in the range. Minus pi by 2 and plus pi by 2 are included in the range. That's what closed interval means, right? Y is equal to minus pi by 6. This is the principal value. Therefore, the principal value of sine inverse minus half is minus pi by 6. Now, let's take another problem. Let's find sine inverse of 1 by root 2, right? You assign this to y, right? Y is equal to sine inverse of 1 by root 2, which means sine y is equal to 1 by root 2, right? Now, you'll have to find, now what is 1 by root 2? In the trigonometric chart, sine 45 degree is 1 by root 2, right? Sine 45 is pi by 4, which is 180 by 4, right? 45 degrees, pi by 4, which is nothing but 180 by 4. So this is nothing but, you can write it like this, sine y is equal to, this is nothing but sine 45 degrees or sine pi by 4. Now what does this indicate? This indicates that y is equal to pi by 4. Now you will have to always check if this is between this range, within this range. So pi by 4 is 45 degrees and it is within this range, plus minus 90 to plus 90. Within this range you have 45 degrees. Therefore, you should write this belongs to principal value branch, and this is the principal value within this branch. Now we'll go to this next problem. Find principal value of this particular trigonometric inverse function. Cos inverse of root 3 by 2. So what we will, the first step is assign it to y. Let y is equal to cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Now this means cos y is equal to root 3 by 2. Now in the trigonometric chart, so cos 30 is root 3 by 2 and cos 30 is nothing but pi by 6, that is 180 by 6 is 30 degrees. Now this 30 degrees is within this range, right? 0 to 180 degree. Between 0 to 180 you have 30 degrees. So I can write this as cos y is equal to cos 30 degree, or I can say pi by 6, and which implies that y is equal to pi by 6, and this belongs to principal value branch, which is 0 to 180, or I'll say 0 to pi. It is important to write the statement that principal value of cos inverse root 3 by 2 is pi by 6, and also it is important to write the principal value branch. So this is the principal value and this is principal value branch. Now let's go to the third problem. Find the principal value of cosec inverse of 2. We'll assume that y is equal to cosec inverse of 2. Now first we have to write the principal value branch. What is the principal value branch of cosec? It's in the group of sine, right? Scot. It's in this group, right? Cosec. So the range is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So now we'll put y is equal to cosec inverse of 2, which means that cosec of y is equal to 2. Now in the trigonometric chart, cosec of 30 degrees is 2. Cosec of 30 degrees is 2. Now this implies that y is equal to 30 degrees or pi by 6. Pi by 6 is 180 by 6, which is 30 degrees. And we'll have to check if pi by 6 is falling within this range. It is falling within this range. This belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Therefore, principal value of cosec inverse 2 is pi by 6. Let's take this particular problem. Tan inverse of minus root 3. Now, first write the principal value branch, right? What is the principal value branch? This falls within the sine group, Scot, right? Sine group. So, range is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So, how do we start? Let y is equal to tan inverse of minus root 3, which implies tan y is equal to minus of root 3. Now, in the trigonometric chart, where does this root 3 fall under? It's nothing but tan 60 degree. What is tan 60 degree? It's pi by 3, which is 180 by 3, which is 60 degree, pi by 3. So, there is minus here, so we can put minus here, minus tan 60. This implies that y is equal to minus pi by 3. Now check if it belongs to this particular principal value branch. So it does belong to this particular principal value branch. Therefore the principal value of tan inverse minus root 3 is minus pi by 3. Now let's take this example. Cos inverse of minus half. Now first we need to write the principal value branch, right? What is the principal value branch of cos? It's lying between 0 to pi. 0 to pi. Notice that it does not have any negative values. There are no negative values between 0 to 180 degree. It's all positive. No negative values at all. But here we have negative value, right? Notice this. So we'll first say let y is equal to cos inverse of minus half, which means cos y is equal to minus half. Now half, what does half correspond to? Half is nothing but cos 60 degree. Cos 60 degree is half. And what is 60 degree? It's pi by 3. That is 180 by 3. Right? So pi by 3. But this will become minus pi by 3, and minus pi by 3 does not belong to this range. So what we have to do is, we will have to write this as pi minus pi by 3. This is how we'll have to write. Pi minus pi by 3. This will give 2 pi by 3, right? Pi minus pi by 3 is nothing but 3 pi minus pi by 3, which is 2 pi by 3. And what is 2 pi by 3? 2 pi by 3 is 2 into 180 by 3, which is 60 into 2, 120 degrees. And 120 degrees is within this range 0 to pi. Therefore, this belongs to 0 to pi, and this is the principal value. Y is equal to 2 pi by 3. Now we look at tan inverse of minus 1. What is the principal value branch? It's falling in the sine range, right? Minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So y is equal to tan inverse of minus 1, which means tan y is equal to minus 1. Now this tan can have negative values, right? Because negative is there in the range. Negative values are there in this range. So tan can have negative values. Now what does 1 correspond to? 1 is nothing but tan 45 degrees. Let's put this minus sign. Tan 45 degrees. What is tan 45 degrees? It's 1. And what is this? It's pi by 4. Pi by 4 is 180 by 4, which is 45 degrees. Right? So you should write it as minus tan pi by 4. This is equal to tan y. This implies that y is equal to minus pi by 4. So this implies that y is equal to minus pi by 4, and this belongs to principal value branch, which is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So this is the principal value. Now let's take this problem. Secant inverse of 2 by root 3. Now secant inverse, what is the principal value branch? It's between 0 to 180 degree, right? 0 to pi. Now we'll say y is equal to secant inverse of 2 by root 3, which means that secant y is 2 by root 3. So secant y, 2 by root 3 in the trigonometric chart is nothing but, it is secant, this is secant 30 degrees, and secant 30 degrees is nothing but pi by 6. So y is equal to pi by 6, and this belongs to 0 to pi. Now let's look at this 8th problem. Cot inverse of root 3. So y is equal to cot inverse of root 3 means cot y is equal to root 3. Now what is the principal value branch? This belongs to cos group, that is 0 to pi. Root 3 is nothing but cot 30 degrees, which is nothing but pi by 6, right? So cot y is equal to cot 30 or pi by 6, cot pi by 6. Therefore y is equal to pi by 6, and pi by 6 is within the range 0 to pi. Now let's take the 10th problem. Cos inverse of minus 1 by root 2. Now there is a negative value. Notice this. And principal value branch for cos is 0 to pi. Now there is a negative value. So y is equal to cos inverse of minus 1 by root 2, which means cos y is equal to minus 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 is nothing but cos 45, right? This is cos 45 degrees, and we have minus. This is nothing but cos minus 45 degrees, or I can say cos minus pi by 4. Now this is a negative value. This does not belong to this range, right? Minus 45 degrees is not in this range. So what we have to do? We'll have to take cos of pi minus 45 degrees and equate it to cos y. So what will we get? Y is equal to pi minus 45, right? Or you can write it as y is equal to pi minus pi by 4. And what is pi minus pi by 4? You take LCM as 4. So you get 4 pi minus pi, which is nothing but 3 pi by 4. And 3 pi by 4, what is 3 pi by 4? 3 pi by 4 is equal to 3 into 180 by 4, which is 3 into 45, which is 135 degrees. 135 degrees is within this range, right? Therefore, 3 pi by 4 belongs to 0 to pi, and this is the principal value. And this y, 3 pi by 4, is the principal value. Now let's look at the 11th problem. Cosec inverse of minus root 2. Now what is the principal value branch? This falls under sine group, that is Scott, right? Remember Scott. And the range is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. We assume that y is equal to cosec inverse of minus root 2, which means cosec of y is equal to minus root 2. Now we can have minus values in this range, right? Minus is part of this range. Now cosec of minus 45 degrees is root 2. Cosec of 45 degrees is root 2, right? Cosec of 45 degrees, that is nothing but cosec of pi by 4 minus pi by 4. Pi by 4 is 45 degrees. Cosec of minus pi by 4 is equal to cosec y. This implies that y is equal to minus pi by 4, and this belongs to the principal value branch, which is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Therefore, the principal value of cosec inverse minus root 2 is minus pi by 4. So let's go to second set of problems where we have to find the values of this expression. So individually we have to find the values of each of these trigonometric functions and then solve the entire expression. So we'll take one by one. Tan inverse of 1. So tan 45 is 1. Therefore, tan inverse of 1 is going to be 45 or pi by 4. So we can directly write pi by 4. Now, cos inverse of minus half. Notice it's negative value and cos cannot have negative values, right? Because the range is between 0 to pi. So we'll say y is equal to cos inverse of minus half, which means cos y is equal to minus half, that is minus half. So half is nothing but cos 60, right? Cos 60 is half, that is nothing but pi by 3. But you have negative value, so what we will do, we'll put pi minus pi by 3. We'll subtract it from 180 degrees. So you'll get y is equal to pi minus pi by 3, which is nothing but, take the LCM, so you'll get 3 pi minus pi by 3, which is 2 pi by 3. So we'll write 2 pi by 3 here. Now, what is sine inverse of minus half? Same thing, let's do this. Y is equal to sine inverse of minus half, which means sine y is equal to minus half, and sine 30 degrees is half, right? You need minus half, right? So what is 30 degrees? It's pi by 6. You should put minus here because there's minus here. So minus pi by 6 is the answer here. So this is going to be minus pi by 6. Now we'll find the LCM of all these numbers, 4, 3 and 6. LCM of 4, 3 and 6. 12, right? 12. This will go 3 times. This will go 4 times. And this will go 2 times, right? So 4 3s is 12, 3 4s is 12, 6 2s is 12, right? So it's going to be 3 pi plus 2 pi into 4, 8 pi, minus pi into 2 is minus 2 pi. So this is going to be 9 pi by 12. This is nothing but 3 3s are, 3 4s are. So I'll get 3 pi by 4. So this is the answer, 3 pi by 4. Now let's solve the 12th problem. Again, cos inverse of half. Cos inverse of half is going to be cos 60 degree. That is cos pi by 3. Cos pi by 3 is cos y. Therefore, y is pi by 3. So I'll write pi by 3. Then 2 sine inverse of half. Sine inverse of half is nothing but, you say it's y. That means sine y is equal to half, and half is nothing but sine 30. Sine 30 is pi by 6. So y is equal to pi by 6. So I'll write here pi by 6. So this is going to be 2 ones are, 2 threes are. So this is going to be 2 pi by 3. This is the answer. 2 pi by 3 is the answer. Now let's look at 13th problem. If sine inverse of x is equal to y, then we'll have to find out the range, right? So sine inverse of x is equal to y means sine y is equal to x. When I put sine the other side, it will become sine y is equal to x. So this means that y is equal to sine of some value which is within this range. What is the principal value branch? Minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Within this range is what you will get the value of y. Y is in between this. So you will write minus pi by 2 less than or equal to y and less than or equal to pi by 2. So between this minus and plus value, you will find this y value. So this is the right answer. Now we look at this 14th problem. Tan inverse of root 3 minus secant inverse of minus 2 is equal to. So we'll have to solve this. Tan inverse of root 3 minus secant inverse of minus 2. We'll take separately. So tan inverse of root 3 is equal to y infers that tan y is equal to root 3. Now this means root 3 is nothing but tan 60. Tan 60 is pi by 3, which implies that y is equal to pi by 3. So this is nothing but pi by 3. Now we look at secant inverse of minus 2. Secant inverse of minus 2. This is falling in the cos group. And principal value branches 0 to pi, and the value is negative here. So keep a watch on this cos group functions, right? If it's negative, you have to subtract from pi. So y is equal to secant inverse of minus 2, which means secant y is minus 2. This is equal to 2 is nothing but secant 60 degree. 60 degree is pi by 3. Notice there is minus here. So we'll have to subtract from pi. That is secant of pi minus pi by 3, which implies that y is equal to pi minus pi by 3. You take the LCM, so it will be 3 pi minus pi, which is 2 pi by 3. So this is going to be 2 pi by 3. Pi by 3 minus 2 pi by 3 is minus pi by 3. Minus pi by 3 is the answer, option B. So with this, we've come to the end of this particular topic. We will solve some more problems in the next video. If you have liked this video, do press a like and share it. Thank you.